Now, regardless of your view, whether you're pro or anti, we know that the Nationals last week came out and pretty strongly, and very obviously the leader and senators and deputy leaders, and there's a huge group of people. There's not that many Nats in the parliament, but they were all there, and their view is no, for a whole bunch of reasons. But then a couple of people, former leader, former minister, in Andrew Gee and Michael McCormack, come out and say, no, we're pro the voice. So because the no case is radioactive to those who firstly want it to happen, but secondly are sort of pretty aggressive about those who don't want it, and they'll call you every sort of name under the sun. The way this gets reported in, again, the Sydney Morning Herald, is a bitter war of words. What, because two people disagree with 20? Which, of course, is allowable. One of the great things on paper about the Conservative side of politics is that you can speak against your own side. However, it's a flaw in the Death Star because the Labor Party's rules are so tight that if you came out and had a go at your own policy, well, they'd boot you out of the parliament. Remember, we had the absurdity 10 years ago of Penny Wong trying to tell us that she was against same-sex marriage because that was the position of the party at the time. It's great for message discipline. It's easier for them to hold a one-seat majority and basically no one's going to cross the floor. But I also wanted to show you examples of how the media essentially puff up one side of a yes-no question and push down the no side that they disagree with. Again, regardless of whether you agree or disagree, and my view, and I know you hate when I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway, this thing's going to pass. I think it'll pass pretty easily. Every opinion poll to this point in time says even though people say they don't know what they're voting for, they're still going to vote for it anyway because the vibe is winning right now. But The Guardian runs off and finds that party politics isn't going to decide this, it's personal conversations. And when politicians say the wrong thing, it gets echoed by people around the dinner table, and that's a bad thing. And then there is this piece that was over on the ABC. And we know the ABC love reporting on this issue. And sure, they're not going to do Q&A about potholes, but there's some sort of median point perhaps here in the national conversation. But they decided, the best way to embarrass David Littleproud is let's go and find people in his electorate who disagree with him. Well, of course there are people who disagree with him. He didn't get 100% of the vote, and even if he got 100% of the vote, 40, 30, 20, 10, 60% of people may disagree with his position on this. Let's be adult about it. But this bloke that they found, who's a local Indigenous man, says we can't sort of move anywhere forward if we're going to be opposing anything that is literally that is potentially life-changing with a positive sense. Conversations need to first be had to figure out what's going to benefit our mob and what's going to benefit our region. Well, the position of the National Party is that they don't think this is going to work. You can agree or disagree. Welcome to a democracy. But it's the last line of the story that I thought I should point out here. The ABC has asked Mr. Littleproud for a list of people he consulted with, clearly before coming out and saying no, but the request went unanswered. So what, he just was talking to the White Pride Southern Cross tattoo that he secretly got underneath his R.M. Williams shirt? No, he has a position, one that is informed by conversations with people like Jacinta Price. And they're allowed to have the unpopular position. But see how the media goes? That if you are a politician, so nobody's going around and doing a profile piece on Linda Burney's electorate to find how many people disagree with her position on The Voice, because of course you'd find people because it's a democracy. But this is how they sort of death by 1,000 cuts the politicians, the arguments and the side of an argument that they disagree with. And that's fine, but my job is to tell you about the tricks that are happening as they happen. Now, this is not an argument about ABC bias. It's just showing you how the game works, about how you can pump a story up to seem inevitable versus how you can push down the dissent for what you believe to be inevitable, rightly or wrongly. Another example.